Hello. What's up, nerds? Welcome back to GQAM, the most important video game news show that will absolutely, objectively, and uncertainly run forever. The show that will never die. Welcome back to episode 2. Right off the bat, two things important to address. Number one, you will see a little change. I'm pointing to it right now, an overlay on this stream here. We are going to be accepting donations over to the Color of Change, a very important organization that's doing lots of great work and networking money around to people who need it. Volume very low, Mitch Goldstein says. Turn your computer audio up, Mitch. I don't know what to tell you. I'll tweak myself a little bit, but I don't want to be too loud is the issue. As I was saying, donations to Color of Change this time around. All of the things that were just going on in the world. It would feel strange to get on here and talk about video games without addressing that there's a lot bigger things happening around. The second thing, we have a first breaking news story that we really need to address. Last night, Blake Hester was up until 3:30 a.m. playing Call of Duty. Blake, how'd that KD go? How were the wins? Were you popping off, etc.?
We didn't get a W. The boys have been fighting for the W. You know, we had Mitch Goldstein swing in for a bit, try to help out. We were grinding at it, trying to get this Warzone win. I have not had a Warzone win in months and months and months, and we tried and tried. And then I looked at my phone, and I was like, damn, it's 3:30 in the morning. And I was like, that's okay, I can sleep in. And then I remembered I have to do this, and I have to work on Jacob's 27-hour live stream, which we'll talk about later. Yeah. And boy, howdy, not feeling great this morning.
You don't want to. Let's just plug the Jacob Geller sword stream up front, which all members of Game Curry, past, future, and present, will be appearing on at some point. So that's very cool.
That's right.
Over on what's his URL? I should probably have that.
I mean, just look up Jacob Geller on YouTube and Twitch. I'm sure he'll be tweeting out links. That goes live at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and then is running for 27 entire hours. So. I tell you what, anyone watching, if you're going to be there, I am moderating chat. So if you have any plans on dropping any incendiary things in there, the ban hammer coming down like the fist of God.
You're getting destroyed.
I'm banning anyone who uses chat. I don't give a fuck.
Just saying hello, Jacob and gang. Thanks for doing this.
Banned.
You. Kicked. Your computer will be ejected from your desk or couch or wherever it is that you're typing. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. When you Google Jacob Geller, just follow the direction of a very nice beard, and that's, I think, you'll find the results that you're looking for.
Get into the news.
Blake, let's talk about some fucking video games.
Let's go.
So, after the megaton of the PlayStation 5, the Sony PlayStation 5...
the ugliest console ever brought to market.
It doesn't look great, we'll say that. I don't know why people can't hear me. Folks, I did a recording before this, and it sounded fine. I don't know what to tell you. I'll turn my volume up, I guess.
Sounds fine now, Funk says.
Love it. Now I'm going to be too loud, so let me know in about 3 minutes, thanks to the latency. What was I saying? The PlayStation 5, a strange-looking machine. They announced the price, the details, and then let you buy it last week if you wanted to. And there's no way that there could have ever been... more impactful or relevant video game news after that until, at Monday morning at about 8:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a little headline rolled across the docket that said, hey, Microsoft is going to buy ZeniMax and Bethesda, get all of those properties and make them first-party titles, which, the reaction was immediately, haha, very funny joke, to, oh shit, that's for real. Huh, that's actually happening.
Yeah. I was listening to the Min-Max show. Now, I'm sure we'll get into our takes on this and how this actually big sucks. But I was listening to the Min-Max show this morning, and Jeff Marchiafava, God bless us all, had a good question. I want to unpack really quickly. He asked if this was the biggest news in video gaming. Now, I don't know if it's the biggest news of all time in video gaming because, you gotta go through 30 years of news. But in the past decade, this is certainly has to be some of the biggest news that ever dropped. I'm thinking like perhaps Satoru Iwata passing away is up there for big news.
But that's I would argue, yeah, that that's like bigger news, but doesn't have
Sure.
the impact and the impact, obviously, yes, like the implications. And because I think what we've seen this week is a lot of, what everyone should be doing is a lot of just going, I don't know what the fuck this means. A lot of people have been asserting that they do know what it means and that everyone else is wrong in assuming
Yeah.
that what they think it means. But
I think it
it's
sucks.
a real head scratcher. Yeah, like Funk Uncle in the chat saying it's the biggest purchase in games history. I think like categorically,
Yeah.
obviously that's true. This is
People
something.
have
There are like studio
people
acquisitions. Go ahead.
people keep bringing up that they paid more in this acquisition than Disney did for Star Wars, which doesn't actually feel that impressive to me when you consider they're, you know, acquiring all the employees and salaries and
Yeah,
IPs of like 10 different studios compared to a movie franchise, which likely uses a lot of contractors and stuff like that. But
the Star Wars
that is
thing is
the
also
stat thrown around.
Star Wars thing's also a unique case because George Lucas was just looking to get rid of Lucasfilm. Essentially, he wanted to retire, and so in terms of
Yeah.
like monetary value and business acumen, it's not really comparable. It's pretty wild. So the total
Yeah.
price was what, 7.5. That is a lot of
7.9, I believe.
7.9. Wow, look at that. Uh,
Hmm.
that's pretty wild. That is an unimaginable amount of money, and
Yeah.
they're getting quite a lot. I think obviously a lot of people jump to Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Starfield, whatever. Will those become Xbox One exclusives? Let's take the gamer approach to this news first, which like we can be a little excited about and do some speculation, and then we'll take the realist approach and talk about, as you said, why this big sucks. My mind immediately went to the fact that Bethesda was putting out games like Prey and Dishonored, which were really original, really great games that a lot of gamers and people in the scene really loved and appreciated for what they were doing that was original. Even though they didn't sell very well, like they were received well. Basically, anyone who played them has some sort of fondness for them, but they did not light the industry on fire. And I was kind of worried, will we see anything like a Dishonored again or like another Prey? And I think that in some ways, this acquisition, and especially the way Microsoft has been treating things like Game Pass, might make that sort of more possible, more feasible. I think a Prey 2 is a lot more likely when it can drop on Game Pass day one and just keeps people paying that ultimate $15 a month rather than when it has to sell X million amount of copies in the first month. So that is encouraging. That's hearkening to me.
Is the reductive pass that Game Pass means games can fail without failing? You know what I'm saying? Like games like if Dishonored 2 came out on Game Pass and the same amount of people played it, if it the way it did come out, Dishonored 2 is a financial failure.
Mhm.
But if it comes out on Game Pass, the exact same amount of people play it, is it a failure or is it a safety net to fail safely? Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
That makes total sense. I think like Game Pass is such a unique thing. People always say like they're trying to do the Netflix of games, which you just like cannot do based on what Netflix is and how video games work. And Microsoft is like selling Game Pass now more so than any title, any software, and also honestly more than any hardware. They want you to buy that box so you'll keep paying that monthly fee. Like that's all they want. And Xbox is such a small part of Microsoft overall. I think this decision was probably made at a level higher up than like, dude, we could get Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive. That would be so cool. Like that was not the motivating factor for however cool that may or may not be. And this gets into like a much broader topic than just this particular acquisition, but I think that like Game Pass is such a wild thing and is probably, to go back to Jeff M's point, Game Pass is probably like the most, I don't want to say exciting because that would sound corporate worshipy, but like the most interesting thing that's happening in the industry right now. I like keep looking at that. I was playing, I fired up some Microsoft Flight Simulator this morning. That's one of the best games of the year. Crusader Kings 3 like has been on their day and date. Just these games that you get to sample and the way that they're delivered. I think like when I look at the next gen consoles, I really think that if you don't have a device that can like play or access Game Pass, you're kind of missing out on like the quote unquote true future of games. I look at like
Sure.
being asked to buy a PS5 exclusive for $70, and I'm just not into it. I think we talked a little bit about that last week too. Maybe this is just
Yeah.
how I like to play and sample a lot of games all the time and don't really need like one thing to invest hundreds of hours in at a time. This might just be a me thing.
Hmm.
But like, I just think Game Pass is such a fun thing to be using right now, and the rate at which it is accelerating and Microsoft's acquisitions are ramping up, it's starting to frighten me. Like, everyone always says it's such a good deal, it's so great, you got to get it. When is that gonna start becoming the only thing that we have in games? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, the word thrown around, the technical term is market consolidation, and I think
Ah,
that is
the name of this
something
episode.
to yeah, I think that is something to genuinely consider because Sony buying Insomniac is big news, right?
Hmm.
That's one company,
Makes
two
sense.
studios in Raleigh and Burbank, I believe. Uh, like Microsoft didn't purchase Arcane. They didn't purchase Tango. They purchased the company that owns all the companies. And I think that's concerning in a way, and Microsoft's CEO got out there and tweeted, there are 3 billion gamers or whatever the hell. We want to make sure everyone is playing or some market speak.
I have
And
the
it's like, do
tweet
you
pulled
though?
up here, yeah.
Because that operates on a logic that you think, everyone who wants to buy a console or plays games will now buy an Xbox. And it's like, I don't think that's actually true. I think you're willfully negating a lot of audiences unless you're able to work out where all these games aren't exclusive to your platform, which in that case, what exactly was the point of purchasing them? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Totally.
uh, so I don't know. I don't like it. I think it's weird and scary. I think it's probably indicative of where Microsoft's going in the future. I think thinking Microsoft would buy something like Sega, which we can get into, is an absolutely ludicrously stupid thing to think.
I have a really interesting manifesto that I found on Reddit that I think has been like pretty thoroughly debunked, but I just want to flip through that because it's
Yeah,
hysterical. And another
I uh, I guess what I'm just trying to say is like I don't know. I don't think it's good. Like I think and what is right now like even the gamer take for me is weird because it's like what is there to be excited about? The fact that big company bought another big
mhm.
company because the messaging around it is like, okay, so what happens to the games? And it's a lot of Microsoft going, I don't know, I'll figure it out later. It's
Yeah,
like there's
like
nothing to be excited about in this entire thing.
it's the most immediate thing was that Doom Eternal is on Game Pass next week. Cool. That's a pretty good video game. Like, enjoy that. But like in terms of even Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo not coming out until next year at the earliest, Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield are God knows how far off. Fallout, what does the future of that franchise look like? This is a thing that we won't really know the fallout to for lack of a better term, the actual fallout of this acquisition
Right.
for years. Like in the chat
So
saying, would you have thought Microsoft buying ZeniMax was ludicrous 2 months ago? It was like always rumored, I think, is the thing. Like every E3 was like, oh, Microsoft's got some big acquisition. And like a joke would always be that it's like Nintendo or Sega or Bethesda or something. It just didn't seem like Bethesda was entirely ready to submit or consolidate themselves to the market, as it were, I think.
yeah.
Do you get that read? That they were a little more self-assured and sort of they'd been doing that like their own show, their own publishing for a while.
No, I think honestly, like I don't know if this specifically answers your question. I don't think Bethesda was seeing as much of a return as they hoped, or maybe people thought they did
Mm-hmm.
on a lot of games. Uh, you know, sure, Skyrim is $1 billion selling game, but Wolfenstein 2, Dishonored 1 and 2, Prey, The
Mm-hmm.
Evil Within 1 and 2, God, the majority. There have been a lot of news stories about the financial shortcomings of their games. I think from a business perspective, maybe this is a safety net for a company that wasn't doing as good as it appeared on the surface, because those big like splashy things they're doing, like E3 press conferences and all these, when you look at how those games are selling outside of, the Bethesda Softworks games, didn't really seem to net them much income. I don't think that answered your question, but that's something I've
No,
been
that's
ruminating
pretty
on.
much what I was getting at. All those games you listed, like beloved or whatever that means,
Yeah.
appreciated by fans, but just goes to show that this industry and dealing in entertainment and big business overall, big tech, just fucking wild. So much money that you cannot even wrap your head around it. A game that comes
Yeah.
out, seems to do well, people enjoy it, people seem to be buying it, and just could be categorically seen as a failure.
Yeah. I Something I've been thinking about is Skyrim specifically, as the Elder Scrolls 6 is somewhere far on the horizon. And Skyrim, of course, made over $1 billion.
Mhm.
A tremendous success in the, God, I don't know, 10, 11 years since it came out? 9 years?
Nine
Doesn't matter.
years, yeah.
Uh, and so now the big talk is like, oh, is Elder Scrolls 6 going to be an Xbox exclusive?
Blake, let me fucking ask you:
And
is Elder Scrolls 6 gonna be an Xbox exclusive?
you got to be out of your fucking mind to think it would be, which is, I think, a good outcome of this. I don't like, okay, Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm just pulling a name out at random. Xbox exclusive, probably good for Tango here, because that game is not going to
Mm-hmm.
make $1 billion. It's just not. But I don't think Elder Scrolls 6 as a console exclusive also sells $1 billion. And, you know, they're going to be thinking about what Skyrim sold as they're gearing up to sell the sequel to Skyrim, and limiting that to, not putting that on Sony's platform, which is also going to have millions and millions of people that own that don't own an Xbox,
Yep.
ostensibly, is just, you're cannibalizing your own sales. So I think for tentpole things like that, like especially in Elder Scrolls or maybe even Starfield, I think Microsoft would be out of their goddamn gourd if they did not try to work that out where they come to Sony's consoles as well. I think the smaller tier games like a Ghostwire, maybe some stuff in the future from Arcane, like I wouldn't be surprised if those are exclusives.
Yeah,
Which
that's a good
is what
point.
it is.
Like I can see a world in which Microsoft starts getting aggressive with, like, let's say Doom 3 comes out in 2023 or whatever. Yeah. That's something that's like on Game Pass day one. You got to wait 12 months to get it on PlayStation 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, don't have a PC or an Xbox, not subscribed to Game Pass. Sorry, bucko, you're out of luck. No Doom for you. Go straight to hell.
Yeah.
And Microsoft has been out there as well talking about like their future acquisitions. They said, we're not done. Scary stuff out there.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, okay, look, good on developers who are working at the studio who feel like they have a safety net. That's cool. That's something Tim Schafer talked about when Double Fine was acquired by Microsoft. That's rad. But I think you also have to consider, it's like the way we talk about anything, like an Amazon or a Google, these monopolies. And I don't know another word to call this right now than Microsoft attempting to really monopolize the game industry. And I think that's something worth keeping an eye on and, criticizing, outside of, the financial benefits that this brings a lot of people.
Yeah.
It sucks to see such an aggressive attempt at control. It's something. Yes, I get to play Game Pass, and that's cool and fun, and I like the games that go shooty shoot. But there are implications to moves like this.
Yeah. Well, let's keep the positivity, the skeptical train rolling. Blake, I've DM'd you something on Discord that I want you to try and read out here live on the air. So let me know when you've got that pulled up.
Okay, so
give me this post word for word.
Marvel's. Let me wet the whistle.
Yeah, wet the whistle. Give me your best Ira Glass, or who's your guy? Give me your best Gimlet.
Marvel Spider-Man Remastered is an enhanced version of Marvel Spider-Man and is included as part of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition for the PlayStation 5. In addition, players who purchase Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales on PlayStation 4 can upgrade at no additional cost to the PlayStation 5 version of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales and can take advantage of a paid upgrade to download Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. There are no plans currently to offer Marvel Spider-Man Remastered as a standalone. Players with a copy of Marvel Spider-Man on PS4 can purchase Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition to experience Marvel Spider-Man Remastered on PS5. Marvel Spider-Man for PS4 also will be backwards compatible on PS5. I do want to say up front, that is whoever wrote this, good troll on the reader and Sony for that. But yes, it is confounding to say the least.
I think I vaguely understand some of that. This was going to be the theme of the episode before all of the market started consolidating, but we hinted at it next week. This next gen stuff, big ol' headache, twisted my little baby brain into a big fat Auntie Anne's pretzel at the mall, you know, dipped in a little cheese sauce.
Let me break this down because I'm not sure I actually understand it. So, Miles Morales, you can buy Miles Morales as a standalone for PS5, and you can buy Spider-Man Remastered for a paid upgrade, right? But if you buy Miles Morales on PS4, you can upgrade that to PS5, but you can't upgrade Spider-Man on PS4 to PS5. Right? Do I have this?
You can buy the game itself on both platforms for $40.
Okay.
You can buy the game and the original Spider-Man on the PS5 for $70.
Okay.
You can buy the game itself on PS4, play Miles Morales. Then when you buy a PS5, you can pay $20 to get Spider-Man Remastered, and it looks better. I think that's kind of what's going on here.
Okay.
Vaguely.
People are mad about this.
And that the saves don't carry over from Spider-Man PS4 to Spider-Man Remastered.
Yeah, I don't understand why that matters. Look, like that. When I bought Last of Us Remastered, I didn't get my Last of Us saves. When I bought GTA 5 on PS4, I didn't get my GTA. That's kind of the fun of rebuying a game, is it's an incentive to play back through it. And this is the way it's operated forever. There's a lot of, I know people are going to hate me for saying this, but like there's a lot of stuff that people are getting mad about for this next generation that's just how it's always been.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't remember people being mad about this last time, but you're mad about something we've just come to accept.
The control thing was a big one for me. There was some wackiness going on there for people who had bought the DLC, I guess, and couldn't upgrade it. But people were like, how dare they put this game out again? How dare they not upgrade people who bought the game and played it through it already? And I'm like, why are you buying it again? Like, if you're buying a game that you already played again, at some point you are, I don't know. You're saying I'm buying a game I bought already again, and it was a different case for the upgrades. But those upgrades are not as simple as flipping a switch. Is a thing I don't think people understand of being oh, well now it looks better, right? Someone has to go through and make that game look better. It requires labor and effort and time and resources that
and
gamers
save
love
data made for one box doesn't mean save data works on another box. You know, we're two dummies here, but also we don't know how that works. I'm sure no one in chat necessarily knows how that works.
I'm just having flashbacks to this Reddit post that I wrote about in the zine last year, where somebody, quote unquote, did the math for how long it would take to put every Pokemon back in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and they were literally just it takes this long to upload a JPEG or these raw files or whatever. So realistically, it should only be 2 weeks max for them to patch all of the Pokemon into the game. And at that point, that's when I actually threw my laptop out the window and just said, I think I'm done playing video games forever.
So I have bought numerous games on this generation that came out for older generations, like the remaster versions of them or whatever. And I've always been, when I buy them, I'm excited to replay them. That's the whole reason I'm excited. And I've always assumed people also were operating under that, but I guess not. If I were to buy Spider-Man again for PS5, which I might do, buying it would be my incentive to replay it. I would, you know what I'm saying? I was never hoping my save would just carry over. Things like Okay, so things where I do commiserate with people being upset or frustrated is where we're seeing a tide change where publishers and developers are being like, yo, if you have this game on PS4, you get the free upgrade. So any developer like choosing to not do that, I definitely understand like being upset about, because it's like, hey, we're seeing a lot of people adopt this new model. So when someone doesn't do that, it's like, why are you
Yeah.
trying to
Like Call of
like
Duty is doing a thing where you pay $100 or something and get like Xbox One and Xbox
yeah,
Series, which
or
feels.
like cyber
But you can like put
or
the
like cyberpunk
or
free upgrade.
Cyberpunk. So Cyberpunk's like the free upgrade, but Call of Duty is like if you want both, you have to pay. You can buy the Xbox One version and like literally put that disc into your Xbox Series,
Yeah,
but it's not the Xbox Series version of the game. You're playing the Xbox One version on your Xbox Series.
yeah.
Whew.
I I can understand stuff like that, people being upset about that. But
Yeah.
it's like your saves carrying over, bro. There are bigger issues in the world, and that not how it's ever
Yeah.
worked. Like
Remember memory
when I
cards?
bought a PS2, well, that's what I was gonna say. When I had a PS2 and I wanted to play fucking Metal Gear Solid 1, I had to have a PS1 memory card. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it's always worked this way.
Yeah.
Just replay the Spider-Man
Just
game.
it's
It's
a
fine.
it's a good game. Replay it.
This is the yeah. I like. It doesn't matter.
There's nothing else
It's
to play on your PlayStation 5 on day 1.
yeah.
Replay
See,
Spider-Man.
I'm getting upset now over being upset that people are upset, and it's just the cyclical nature of gamer. It doesn't matter. It's fine that my saves don't carry
Breaking
over.
news:
I'll just
gamers are
replay Spider.
upset.
Yeah.
The bigger thing that people were mad about, and this is what I wanted to talk about, was like the whole pre-order bungle situation. It like started happening towards the end of last week, where they were like, PlayStation 5 pre-orders Thursday morning. Everybody relax, like it's going to be very safe, very orderly. Was not. They went out like Wednesday night. People, gamers mad. I guess pre-orders are going up again today. But then Xbox like made it a marketing point that was like, look, you're gonna know when you can pre-order this thing. We promise it's gonna go totally orderly and totally fine. Turns out, big bungalow, possibly even worse, just shitstorm, selling out instantly. And this is also happening with the new Nvidia cards, the 3090 and the 3080, for those PC freaks who are ready to spend $2,000 for 8K gaming that nothing can take advantage of yet. Whatever, different point. But people are looking to spend money, and they're apparently not having a good time trying to do so. I am not. I think if I get a console this year, which I highly doubtful, I'll walk into a store and get a PlayStation 5. Like
I I did not even attempt to
me too.
pre-order
It was I like
any of them.
I considered it myself doing a favor for everyone else who was complaining about the websites being down and so much server traffic. I just entered like a zen-like state and just turned my phone off when all this pre-order stuff was happening and just said, "Don't need to see it. Don't need to think about it."
What I was particularly interested in is who amongst the people I follow on Twitter and just drop $500 to $1,000 during a global pandemic and a financial crisis. That was interesting to see.
I understand being excited about next gen gaming and wanting to take advantage of that stuff, and like when you're a hobbyist being there on day one. I'm raising my eyebrow at people who were out there getting the expensive version of both boxes, like pre-order. Like,
Sure.
There
are.
If you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I definitely commiserate with a lot of like I'm lucky in my job as a games writer that I don't do reviews, like,
Mhm.
I have a niche doing something else, so I don't really have to worry about all that stuff. But dude, big commiseration too, because outlets will get these, but that doesn't mean individual staff writers are promised them.
Mhm.
And it certainly doesn't. You're out of your mind if you think any outlet is buying these things for freelancers. So definitely feel bad for all the people who need these for their job, who just like were struggling that day.
Yeah,
It sucks.
big.
Also, outlets should just buy the fucking consoles for the people that they expect and rely on to have these things. If you expect someone to have this is in the weeds, I know, but if you expect someone to have these boxes for their literal job, pony up,
Yeah,
baby.
Blake, this is why people come to Game Query. It's that sort of stuff right there. Like,
Been doing this for a long time, and I'll tell you, literally, no one has ever offered
no boxes
to.
showing up on your doorstep.
Never,
Mhm.
never. except for an eye tracker one time that I never plugged in.
I remember that. I remember that story.
Got it right. Got it
Uh,
in my drawer right here.
we got a few other little things to hit on real quick. If there's anything that you want to talk about this Yakuza movie real quick, they're making a Yakuza movie, Blake. This thing that has never happened before.
Okay. I yesterday they announced this. They announced a new Yakuza movie. There's not really any details about it. I don't think there's anything to get excited about. I don't get excited about the announcements of announcements,
Mhm.
which this is what this kind of felt like. Um, but I learned my where the line is when I become an insufferable gamer baby, and it's right here with Yakuza. Because as soon as this happened, I've never wore glasses. I've had 20/20 vision all
You
my
can borrow
life.
mine.
As soon as this happened, glasses materialized on my face, and
Yeah.
I pushed them up the brow of my nose and said,
Actually,
"Well, actually."
you tweeted at Variety twice. I have GQ tweet notifications turned on just in case you ever decide to go rogue. You quote tweeted them and you replied and said, "Put a little respect on Takeshi Miike." You know, this is what it is.
I did. I tweeted that at Nobelian
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
his
yeah.
name is. I mean, like, I just saw a lot of news articles because I wanted to see who would include this.
Take
And
the
there was
bait.
already a Yakuza movie. No, I saw only like two out. I think GameSpot and Eurogamer put in there. There was a Yakuza movie in 2007 by one of Japan's most celebrated directors, no less, Takashi Miike, the director of Audition, 13 Assassins, and Ichi the Killer.
And one of the best
And
podcasts of all time talked about it.
exactly, we covered his Yakuza movie. His Yakuza movie is astoundingly bad. But it was just
One of the
wild
better
to me
movies that we watched.
sure. It was just weird to me that I mean, I don't think that movie did well, but it did come over in the
Yeah.
over to the United States, and it wasn't that long ago. It was less than, I guess it was 13 years ago.
Yeah.
That no one mentioned that, including Variety, which I found weird. But I guess they just seem to be like copying and pasting a press release they got.
They're supposed
And
to know
I
shit
understand.
about movies, about film,
Yeah,
about
well,
Hollywood.
sure. Yeah, but I understand if the press release didn't bring up the movie. It's like, why take away from your own thing? But yeah, there's already a Yakuza movie. Go watch that because it was made by a Japanese studio, and I don't know the names specifically attached to this, but I didn't see any Japanese ones. So get ready for like Corey Crabapple instead of Kiryu Kazuma. I'm sure this is gonna be Garbo.
Damn,
Not that
you just sent me into like a panic spiral in my brain right
Yeah.
there.
Not excited for this. Nothing to get excited about. The whole news article is we're making it, and it's
Go
like, yeah,
go watch
I bet you.
the Mike movie. It's on YouTube.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like I bet you fucking are making this. All right, get out of here. By the way, there's two Yakuza movies. If you want to be technical, there's a direct VHS
that's right.
prequel movie.
I want to talk about something. I want to talk about a little rumor real quick. So earlier this week, it sort of broke that like, hey, maybe the original Metal Gear games, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 are coming to PC, which lo and behold happened today. GOG just tweeted it out that like, hey, all these classic Konami games are available now. But a larger part of that little rumor is the article that I've pulled up here is that the original MGS, Metal Gear Solid 1, is getting like a full PS5 console exclusive remake, which, you know, tickled my little gamer brain as a big Metal Gear fan. This has been like out there sort of as a maybe possibility for like, I remember thinking about this when we interned at GI. I remember that when Kojima came out on the stage at E3 that year, he was like going to announce the Metal Gear Solid remake. Very excited about that, which obviously did not come to fruition. We got Death Stranding out of that, which possibly better.
And they released an MGS3 trailer made in Fox Engine for a pachinko machine.
I remember writing that article as an intern and just being like pain, suffering, existence is torture.
Yeah.
So I think like the rumor here was that Bluepoint might possibly be involved, or like one of these other Sony houses who does very flashy games. Not a ton of details. Also, apparently MGS4 was going to come to PC at some point. I don't know if I want this now at this point. Like a remake of Metal Gear Solid. It would be cool to see someone else give it a shot, but just like...
Aren't there like 5 different Metal Gear Solid remakes happening in varying degrees of legality and
I
officiality.
think
Like, aren't
so.
there a bunch of fan remakes always being made in Unreal Engine?
Yeah. I would be like curious, and I know this might be sacrilegious, but I'd be like curious to see someone else's take on Metal Gear universe without Kojima's oversight, which I know
They did that.
blasphemous. I know they did that.
They did that. I played it. Metal Gear Survive. Very bad.
Who knows what it is, but I just think it would be lovely to see. And maybe I eat some of the crow here after playing that Final Fantasy VII remake, which like managed to do something very interesting and unique. If this is more in line with that, sign me up. If not, I don't know. They did
I
do
would
Twin
play
Snakes.
this only. That's right. I would play this if only because Metal Gear Solid 5 is well, and I guess Survive technically are the only Metal Gear Solid games I've ever played. And
Oh
it's like
brother.
I've I've wanted to go through them all, but it's like, man, am I really gonna play a PS1 game? And then I downloaded 2 and 3 on Game Pass, and I was like, I'll just read the plot synopsis of 1, and then I can't bother myself to play 2 and 3. It's if they like remade a couple of them, I'd go through that for sure. It seems
Yeah,
cool.
even with MGS1 being on PC, and apparently that port is no good. That game is still pretty inaccessible, I imagine, to a lot of people. I don't want to become a traditionalist. I don't want the classic gamer audience to get on me. That game's pretty tough to wrap your head around in 2020. So
Yeah.
broadening that story and that universe
Really
out
quick.
to more people would be cool.
Really quick. Crater Gaming saying, what's the donation link for? I just showed up. AJ, you want to give the rundown real quick again?
Yeah, just figured, there is a lot of bad things happening in this country and in the world right now, and we wanted to throw up a donation link to Color of Change, who are spreading some money around for like bailout networks and other important foundations that are supporting justice in the world and in the United States of America, where it might be more difficult for some groups of people to get it, and it would feel wrong for us not to have something addressing that and sit here and talk about video games.
Yeah.
So that's up there if you're feeling generous. If you haven't donated to some of these networks already, wanted to present you with the opportunity to do so.
Right. Are we going to talk about Microsoft buying Sega? I feel like we can shut this shit down in 1.5 minutes.
Oh, you want to read this Reddit post?
Not particularly.
You want to just go off? Just go
Let's
off.
do it.
I found this really funny little manifesto here that we can just scroll through point by point, where people are looking at.
Sure, give me the Cliff Notes.
Here's a guy with a shirt that has Sonic on it in a Microsoft presentation. Now, the thing that you got to understand, people do not like Sonic. People don't know who this is. This has to be a subtle hint that they're buying Sega. That's the only reason someone wearing this t-shirt that says I love Sonic the Hedgehog would make sense. Point number 2, Xbox is putting out a blue controller. You look at Sega's logo, it's blue. You look at Sonic the Hedgehog, it's blue. Curious much? Look at this photo. Someone has their arms crossed in a photo tweeted out by Sega. It kind of looks like an X. The letter X, what does that remind you of? Possibly the Xbox, published by Microsoft? Much to discover, much to think about. They also tweeted out the words, still iconic, which, if you scramble those around, contains the letters Sonic, published by Sega, quite possibly hinting at an acquisition. Of course, Xbox had to come out and tweet that, no, we're not doing that. We're not acquiring anyone, and we're not announcing it anytime this week. So fuck off.
I dream of the day I have enough free time that I can do stuff like that.
It's one of my favorite unhinged genres of post on the internet. That's just like, hey, here are some tweets. Do these make sense to you?
So there was some things going around similar to like, oh well, Sony's gonna buy Konami, and not presume or pretend to be an expert on Japanese game companies, but something you have to understand about Sega and Konami is they are not just video game developer / publishers. They're not the way the West thinks about a ZeniMax or a Bethesda, for example. Sega, they put out video games, yes, but they also have brick and mortar arcades. They put out arcade machines, pachinko machines. Like they have their hands into a lot of different industries in the East that frankly Microsoft shouldn't, and I assume doesn't have any interest or business being in. Microsoft does not want to own an arcade business in Japan. Okay, maybe they do. Maybe they're going to buy Sega, and if they do, I promise I will live stream myself eating my hat if they do. But and I don't fault anyone for not knowing that because like to find this stuff, you literally like I have it here. I can drop chat. You need to go to Sega Japan's corporate website to see. Oh, here are the other businesses they're involved in, like arcade games, UFO machines, darts, game center slash facilities, toys, animation. It's not in a company like Microsoft's interest to get involved with stuff like that. Like you're not gonna go to Japan in 5 years and see the Microsoft Sega arcades. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It
Oh,
doesn't, and I could be wrong, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I think this is, and that's fine. Like that people in the West don't understand that because, like, there aren't Sega arcades in Missouri or whatever.
yeah.
But it's just like they're operating in a different business than game companies here do.
I think all of that is correct and very well said, and wraps around to the larger point we made up front, which is like when these big business decisions, particularly partnerships and acquisitions, happen, one of the furthest things from the top of the minds of those executives is like, oh, can we put out Sonic as an Xbox exclusive? Like, can we get Elder Scrolls 6 not on the PlayStation 5? There are so many more moving parts that like are more relevant, and it's a very like gamer centric sort of very narrow worldview to be like, oh, like literally just the games going into players' hands is the only thing that influences and has any relevance in these decisions. It's funny
Konami
to watch, yes.
Konami too is an even bigger, definitely not happening because Konami puts out like exercise machines.
Yeah, people are like, they haven't published a game in like 3 years. They're going under. Someone's got to step in and save them. They're like begging to be acquired, and it's like, no, they're focused on casinos and whatever it is, weird things that you couldn't even wrap your head around over there.
As far as I understand it, Konami's games division, it just doesn't make the money something like a pachinko machine or their like exercise facilities do. Like
we love that. Like, we love that pachinko machine, baby. Dropping another coin in that bad boy.
Yeah.
I want to pop off real quick.
Again, I'll eat my hat live on stream if Microsoft buys Sega.
All right. Next Monday morning, they might announce it. That's what they seem to be doing.
I'd lose my mind.
I want to pop off real quick our last little bit of news here. I want to chat about Among Us 2. Have you heard of this? Have you seen this?
There's a new Yakuza being announced on Sunday.
No, there's not. They said they're not doing that anymore. That was the news, and then they said no. Just kidding. I mean, maybe it'll be like a rhythm.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Have you played Among Us?
No, I don't
Is the
even.
question I want. Okay, good. I'm glad that
I don't know what Among Us is. So
you ever
I
you ever look
like,
at something that's really popular on like YouTube or Twitch and just say, "Cool, not for me. Not gonna fall for this one."
Fall Guys.
I took the bait for Fall Guys. I played that game for like 3 hours. I said, "Cute, fun," and then I saw people being like, "This is revolutionizing tech. This is the most important thing that's ever been published. This is Game of the Year material. We're going to build our identities and our societies around Fall Guys. It's simply the greatest invention of all mankind." And I had to simply say, no, let's pump the brakes there for a little bit. The same thing is happening with Among Us now, which it actually is an interesting case. It's like an older mobile web game that for some reason is just exploding in popularity this year. It kind of makes sense. It's sort of like from what I understand it, I've literally not watched a minute of gameplay of this. I just saw it and tuned out entirely, said not for me. It's like a game sort of like Werewolf or Mafia or something where people are like faking others out and you use voice chat and you're trying to solve a murder or something. Not like Mafia Remastered. Like
I just bought the remaster last night.
No, like the card game.
Right.
But it was like published originally in 2018 or something like that, and is only just like blowing up now. They had a sequel in development, and they just scrapped that and said we're going to fold all of the content into this game that people are playing, which I think smart. Good on them. That's cool just to see like them responding to their community in a way. I'm still not going to play it, but shouts out to them. Congrats to them.
Yeah,
I was hoping that you'd be able to explain Among Us to me, but also in some ways, I don't want it explained to me. I'm happy to just let that thing exist off on its own. Very cool. Good for them.
Yep. New Yakuza is being announced on Sunday.
It is.
Which is awesome. Not surprising, though. I think some people are surprised about this, but they pump those fucking games out like nobody's business. I assume it's another spinoff, maybe like Judgment or the Ishin games or zombie games that they put out. Of course, they're not going to announce Yakuza 8 or whatever before Yakuza 7 comes to the West.
Yakuza 8
But
like
yeah,
two
new games are
dragons,
gonna.
like an additional dragon.
Right. There you go.
Hmm.
It would be cool to see them. A year or two ago, they put out a Fist of the North Star game,
Yeah.
and I believe other than that, and oh, what's that game called? Maybe Binary Domain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Yakuza Studio, which is just the name of those games in Japan, Ryu Gaga Koku, I believe, Studios.
Nailed it.
Other than those two games, none jump to mind of anything they've developed that isn't Yakuza. So it'd be cool to do something like that, but I believe they've explicitly said they're making a Yakuza announcement. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Judgment 2 would be cool. It would be amazing if I don't think someone in chat let me know. I don't think the Ishin games, and I think I'm mispronouncing that as well, ever came to the West.
Hmm.
The zombie ones did. I don't
Yeah.
think the Ishin games are like take place in like feudal Japan, and you're still
That's
Kiryu,
cool.
but you're a samurai. And I don't think maybe the first one did, but I don't think at least the second one ever came to the West. So maybe they're remastering those. That'd be amazing. Or Judgment 2 would be awesome because that
Yeah.
does take place in the Yakuza universe.
I never played Judgment. I was like waiting for it to go on sale or for me to have more
Oh,
time.
dude.
At this
Judgment.
point, I'm waiting for them to put it on PC, which I don't think
Yeah.
has happened yet. But like, Yakuza is a series. I played Zero and a little bit of Kiwami, and like I like it, but just don't have the bandwidth
Sure.
to like fully invest in that universe. So I am really excited for 7, which seems to be like a soft restart, clean slate, hop into this one. And the turn-based thing is really
Kinda.
tickling me, getting me jazzed about
Yeah.
that, which is a nice
I
transition. Recommend me
I
something.
was just gonna say I highly recommend Judgment.
I am excited to play
That game
it.
is very good, and literally requires no knowledge of the
Yeah.
Yakuza universe.
Yakuza.
Yakuza 7, which I'm a little bummed about, has all the old characters of the Yakuza universe. I really was hoping for a fresh start, but Majima and Kiryu and a bunch of the other ones.
But they're just kind of chilling, just hanging out.
I don't know. But Judgment has none of that. I believe you like interact with the Tojo clan, but none of the characters you really know are in there, and it's like you're not playing as an active Yakuza member, like you're playing as a cop, which kind of fucking sucks. But no, you're playing as a lawyer, actually. I don't remember. It's been a year since I played it. But highly recommend that game.
Yeah.
Very good.
I wanted to use that to springboard a little discussion here for us about games for the rest of the year that we're looking forward to playing or purchasing or checking out, and just like our broader feelings on as we enter the next generation of gaming. I think for both of us, Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon probably pretty high on that list. That's like that's like something I've carved out time and money and whatnot for. Well, it's on Game Pass, so I guess like my subscription or whatever. But like I definitely want to play through that game.
You know I'm getting that Steelbook. I go gamer baby for only one series, and it's the Yakuza series, because every time they bring one to the West, it feels like, I mean, not so much these days that thing's really blown up, but when it was after Zero first blowing up, it felt like a miracle we were getting so many Yakuza games, so I always buy the most expensive version, because it's like, thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that game.
So, in terms of 2020, what else are you staring at? What else are you fiending for? I've pulled up the release calendar here compiled by Game Informer.
Ooh.
We can sort of flip through some of the titles on here, but like without looking at this, if I had to ask you like right now, the rest of the year, what game are you most excited to play? Is it Yakuza?
Well, yes. Also, I know the reviews were not stellar, but I bought Mafia Remastered yesterday, and I'm very excited to play that. I loved that game as a kid. And
is the one that came out yesterday just the first one remastered, or is it that all three package?
Yeah, they already put out Mafia 2 Remastered and re-released Mafia 3 with all the DLC for free. It had a ton of DLC, so that's probably a good deal. Yeah, so this is the completion of the trilogy pack. It's Mafia 1, which came out in 2002, I think. It's super old.
Yeah.
Completely remastered in the Mafia 3 engine, which they didn't do for Mafia 2, which is a bummer. It's just a remaster of the original game. But this is completely remade. A lot of criticisms over the way they didn't really update like mission design, but I don't know. Now I have that knowledge going into it. I can temper my expectations accordingly.
Vibe with the boys.
Yeah. I'm excited to play it. I bought it like an idiot knowing I wouldn't be able to touch it until probably Monday.
Yeah. For me, like number one is probably that Hyrule Warriors game that seemingly came out of nowhere. It's like
Oh, sure.
ostensibly a prequel to my favorite game of all time. Got that lore dump, and I actually do like the Warrior games that I've played. Like I can get one of those every like year or two and really sink in and enjoy it. Otherwise, I mean, the game that's staring me right in the face, one that I keep forgetting is coming out like in a week, is Star Wars Squadrons. Like I love the
Oh,
strip back focus on it, how it's like getting out there and just being like, look, it's going to be like a kind of smaller, more like gameplay focused experience with a tight, really focused story on what it's like to be a pilot in this era of Star Wars. I'm very excited to see what it looks like on my fancy little gaming PC here. So I'm definitely into that one. But I don't think there's anything this year that's like, I gotta have it. Like I'm fiending for it. That was Halo Infinite for me, which, tears down my cheeks is never coming out at this point. But I'm kind of feeling like a casual observer for the rest of the year in terms of games. Like I am excited about Cyberpunk and curious about Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed, but like I'll probably get Cyberpunk day one. Those other games, I don't think there's anything else honestly that I like need that I'm fiending to be there for right when it drops. Looking at this list,
not this year. I mean, I'm sure, like you said, there are things I'll pick up day one or release week and play. Cyberpunk being one of them, though. I could tell you CD Projekt is doing everything in their power to make me not excited for that
everything
game.
I learned about that game. Everything I learned about that game makes me less excited to play it. Stop showing things off about that game. If that game is going to be sus, let me find out when I play through it.
If CD Projekt, Leica just asked in chat, y'all got gamer takes on Cyberpunk. Yeah, here it is. If CD Projekt wanted me to be excited for that game, they would have never showed any dialogue of that game. Holy crap, that is astounding. I haven't played it, so I can't say definitively, but from the trailers I've seen over the past few years, seems astoundingly poorly written.
I'm excited to maybe play that game on mute, listening to podcasts and just looking at the pretty visuals. Maybe driving around. Like, oof. Very strange stuff going on there. It seems very racist. Big agree. It seems to be trying to piss off everyone who might want to play it that isn't just like edgy and cool.
Yeah.
There's a Crash Bandicoot game coming out, I think like next week as well. Also keep forgetting about that one as I've highlighted here. That's cool. Good for them. People were freaking out that game's going to be $60. But apparently it's beefy. It's got a lot of levels and good Crash content. I'll play that.
Yeah.
Next year, maybe,
I hate when a brand new game
costs $60. Blake, I got great news for you.
Yeah,
they're going to cost find out when they cost $70.
Here's the gamer take. They should cost more.
He said it, folks.
No, like the rest of the year, not really excited for anything. I mean, I'm gonna play stuff, but like excited to check out this Mafia remaster. Excited to play Yakuza 7, but other than that, it'll be just like playing things I feel like I should play for work, and then I'm sure liking and being surprised by plenty of it. And I'm sure there are great games I'm gonna check out. Still haven't played Kentucky Route Zero. I'm getting to it.
Motherfucker.
Please stop badgering me.
I will badger you
in
now.
The GQ Discord.
You can't get off this stream until you play it. Oh, you're gonna play it right now. Live stream the whole thing. Marathon.
No. I'm living in Kentucky Route Zero, baby.
Kentucky Route Hero.
In the state.
They're gonna fool me into buying another Destiny expansion this year. I'm probably gonna play through the story, think it was okay, and then realize that game is not like I can't be a top tier player.
I think I'm excited to play Death Stranding again. I start my fourth playthrough of Resident Evil 4 in the past month or two.
Hell yeah.
Doing rocket launcher runs. That's really good.
The big boy. We gotta address the elephant in the room. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, baby. Are you ready to drop with the fellas? Are you ready to drop with the boys? Are you ready to drop with Ronald Reagan and the squad and fucking shut down communism and any leftist organization around the corners of the world? Participate in shadowy global operations to snuff out people of color and anyone who isn't just a privileged white male across every corner of this continent?
I forgot about Call of Duty. Look, chat, light me up. Immolate me if you must. Motherfucker, I'm so hyped for Call of Duty. That is like, it just tickles my little lizard brain. I love that fucking game, dude. Oh my god, dude. I am fully prepared to play that campaign and think it's some of the biggest, stinkiest poop right out of the biggest, grossest butt. Just like Modern Warfare's. But man, Warzone
Multiplayer,
is
yeah.
my motherfucking game of the year for sure. That is the
It's
best battle royale
it's
I've
number
ever
2 on
played.
my list right now, right behind Kentucky Route Zero. That won't
Oh
change, but like, damn.
God, season 6 looks cool. They're adding a subway system to
Yeah.
Verdan, dude. I love Call
We
of Duty,
love Call of
baby.
Duty, baby. We love it
Love
here.
Call of Duty, baby.
Um, Leica wants us to talk about Hades real quick. Blake, I know you
I
haven't played
haven't
any
played
Hades.
it.
I bought it in early access, played it for a few hours, thought it was cool. They launched the 1.0 version. I went back for a few more hours. That game is incredibly good, very compelling, looks awesome, plays awesome, has a great story, great soundtrack, great characters, great voiceover. I am not particularly good at it. I like beat it once. I've put about close to 5-ish hours total into the game. Excited to see how it keeps progressing. It's a very cool roguelike. I don't think my experience with it now, I don't think it will top Pyre as my favorite Supergiant game. I think people are going nutso about Hades. Should consider making sure that they've played Pyre because that game is very, very special.
Real quick, Funk saying you actually gonna buy the new COD or just keep playing what you've got, bro? I'm buying the new COD day one.
I'm about to pre-order that bad boy. I'm about to do all of the worst gamer things.
Leica saying the trailer for COD seemed more brutal than others. Is that just me? No, the most recent trailer for Funk Uncle saying "fuck
Fuck
Ronald
Ronald
Reagan,"
Reagan.
and
Fuck
that's
Ronald
on
Reagan.
God,
That's on
dude.
God
Oh
and
my
my mama
God.
too.
Leica saying the trailer for COD seemed more brutal than others. Is that just me? No, the trailer they showed at the recent PS5 showcase. My takeaway from that story trailer was it is absolutely astounding the way video games have desensitized us to brutality because that trailer was something else.
For Call of Duty, it's like a marketing point at this like
Yeah.
group. I mean, talk about no Russian or whatever, but like they want you.
Oh.
I think it's overshadowed GTA in that way. GTA, you sort of know what you're getting. The new Call of Duties now are like, what are they gonna do to be like
Yeah.
problematic this year?
Yeah, look, this doesn't this doesn't excuse me from buying Call of Duty and participating in the bad that is
Let them
Call
know.
of Duty.
Let them know.
But the campaigns are not what I'm there for. It's straight up just multiplayer. It's hopping in to kill confirmed. It's hopping in to shoot the ship. It's dropping into Verdan with the motherfucking goons. Like, I'm not there for the campaign. I'm gonna play the campaign because it's gonna take me 3 hours, and I
You
like
can fire
being
off some
mad about
tweets about
things
it,
and
some hot
DMing.
takes, and saying, "Hey, this was
Yeah,
bad."
I love DMing Jacob Geller when I'm mad about games, so I gotta play through that campaign. But it's not the reason I'm gonna drop $60 on it for sure.
Yeah.
I have almost a week's worth of hours in Modern Warfare, and only like 3 of those are the campaign.
Awesome. I mean, so it sounds like you've been playing a lot of Call of Duty Warzone. Anything else you want to shout out here at the end of the show?
Real quick, these aren't confirmed releases, but very excited for Dome King Cabbage, the game
Yes.
made by Joe Buckles, Kobe Soft Co. Full disclosure, we have worked with him and paid him money in the past for his work.
But he's a
Game
king.
Query has.
You already know it.
But yeah, he is. This is like a visual novel, I believe. Very excited for it. I recommend everyone go check out the most recent little sizzle reel he posted of the game. Looks, honestly, in terms of just raw visuals, better than maybe any other game out there right now.
Joe's incredibly
It's
talented
astounding.
artist and character designer.
It's
haunts.
astoundingly beautiful. Yeah.
I'll throw some.
So very excited for that. Deathloop, of course. Just love arcane games. Ghostwire Tokyo. No clue what that thing is. Just looks cool. And then, baby, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
The fucking village.
I think as we move into the next gen stuff, Resident Evil big on my list, Final Fantasy big on my list. But curious to see like when we start getting into the new IPs of this proper generation. You know.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, perhaps foolishly, and of course that Halo, baby. Give me that Halo. I want to kiss Master Chief's shiny green suit.
That's about all I'm excited for.
Yeah.
I bet I'll put a prediction down here. By summer next year, we're going to see Kojima's next game. I'm interested now.
I think
I dunked on that dude for a long time on Game Query, and then I had to eat. I regretted my words and deeds when I played Death Stranding and thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So now, color me interested.
Knowing what Death Stranding was ultimately has me like very excited to see what he does next. He's talked about it being smaller, possibly more horror focused. I think a game
That'd
that's
be cool.
smaller than Death Stranding, I'm just excited about in general.
Yeah,
That thing was long.
I'm into it.
Okay. Um,
Near remake coming on PS4 next month.
yeah, that looks
Check
cool.
out.
That looks cool. I'm excited about that.
And yes, Microsoft does have Shinji Mikami now, don't they? Yes, he is at Tango.
Interesting. Think,
Wrap it
big
up.
think. Big think
I
emoji.
guess.
What?
Are we wrapping it up? We don't have to. I'm chilling.
We're wrapping it up. This is when we do our little shout out section. You want to? I see you got some anime you want to shout out, Blake?
Hell yeah, baby. First off, I was about 20 years behind on this, but I finally watched Ju-on the Grudge, the
Yeah.
original Grudge,
Is that
the
on
Japanese one.
Shudder right now?
It's on Prime.
Okay.
I watched it on Amazon Prime. Man, that movie, amazing.
Very good.
You got to meet it in the middle on some things. It's definitely a very low budget film, but I will say the ending scene of that movie
Spooky.
scared me more than a movie has in years.
Yeah.
I was genuinely scared of that.
Have you watched
that is-
Have you watched Ringu lately? The original Japanese Ring.
I've never seen Ringu.
That like in the same ballpark. I think I like Ringu a little bit better, but like it does a similar thing where it creeps, and then the very ending of that movie, fucking like soul shaking.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely watch The Grudge if you haven't. I'm interested to watch the American remake because it's actually directed by the same director, which you don't see often with remakes, I don't think. So I'm excited to see what he did with like a bigger Hollywood budget, getting to tell the similar, if not exact same story. But the thing I mostly want to talk about, folks, listen here. On a whim, I was hanging out with my significant other recently. She's just the greatest, but she was a little sleepy baby, so she fell asleep. And I said,
You know what I'm
"She's
doing.
asleep. Time for the boy to do what he wants to do tonight." I turned Lord of the Rings off, and I was like, "Time to watch some fucking anime." So I scrolled through Netflix's anime selection, and I was like, "I'm not watching any of this garbage. This looks like trash." And then I came across Gantz O, Gantz colon. Capital O. And I was like, fuck it, I'm watching this. I have no clue what this series is, never heard of it, but it's pretty 3D CG, and I like Toy Story just fine. Let's check this out. The dopest fucking movie I've ever seen. Confounding. I don't know what the fuck was happening the entire time, but it's literally an hour and a half of some of the coolest CG fights and gore and amazing animation. It is amazing. It's literally, I have been thinking about it for 3 to 4 days now since I watched it. I recommend everyone go.
Chat.
Exactly. I recommend everyone go check this out. It's on Netflix. It's an hour and a half. It's a very, very, very fun ride. The monster design is, I've been saying, and I don't think this is a perfect comparison by any means, I've been saying it's like really gory Persona, but I mainly only mean that because they share monsters, which are pulling a lot from Japanese folklore. So you see a lot of monsters that you kind of recognize from like the Persona games, or I guess just Japanese folklore if you're a smarter, more well-read person than me. But seeing them in just beautiful, beautiful 3D is absolutely amazing. The visuals of this movie are fantastic. It literally looks like a Pixar film. Like,
Damn.
I don't know if that's like the bar everyone sets in terms of 3D animation. I assume it is.
What are we? What kind of runtime are we talking about here? Give me that minute count.
Hour and a half.
Love it.
90 minutes. And it flies, dude, because it's literally like from the jump to the end, it is just nonstop action and fucking gore and viscera flying everywhere, dude. It is.
Talk to me about it.
Oh,
Let's
it's
go.
so good. I might watch it again.
You sold me. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
All right. On my end, real quick shout out. I've been playing that Mario collection that people hate. It's 3 Mario games stapled together on your Nintendo Switch. I am enjoying it maybe more than most people. I think that the bare bones nature of it actually, for me, is a unique experience in its own right of just being able to flip into 64, hop over to Galaxy, back to Sunshine. Playing through the opening sections of those games in particular in parallel has been really interesting. Treating it like a sort of remix scenario. Like, I obviously wish it was a bit more modular and you could go in and like play through individual levels or worlds or whatever, like everything was unlocked from the start, or what there was some mode that did that. But being able to track, I like tweeted about this a little bit, being able to track the design philosophies across those 3 games in tandem is really a unique experience. Talking about how like Galaxy introduces you to zero gravity mechanics in the same way that like jumping was introduced in 64, being able to like see those games influencing each other through time, like paired next to each other, I think has been really neat. Also, I'm realizing that Mario Galaxy like might be one of the best games I've ever played. I always liked it, but now I'm realizing like this needs to be in my top 5 games ever made. It is incredible. I wish Mario Galaxy 2 was in there, and I wish the controls for Super Mario Sunshine were a little bit better. But I think the overall temperature on that thing, pretty harsh, pretty negative. I would say if you want to play a Mario game on your Switch, whatever, give it a shot, pick it up. I'm having a good time with it.
I was playing Super Mario World on the SNES
Online
thing, the Switch. That game is hard.
That game is tough. It's a good one though.
I'm on like only the 3rd level.
My hot Super Mario World take is that Yoshi's Island is better. I prefer Yoshi's Island. That might be my favorite 2D Mario game. I also always hated the N64 controller, as people are saying in the chat regarding Super Mario 64. And playing it on the Switch is a little roughy rough, not particularly great. My other shout out here in terms of things I've been putting into my eyeballs, Lovecraft Country, the HBO show that got off to a really great start and then kind of fell off for a little bit. It's been doing like a Star Trek thing. People say for Star Trek, the movies, I think it's like odd one's bad, even one's good. Lovecraft Country was doing that for me. The first episode was great. Second episode, very bad. Third episode, pretty good. Fourth episode, pretty bad. Fifth episode, all right. And then this week, I think they aired the 6th episode. And it was fucking fantastic. And it's a self-contained sort of like flashback story set during the Korean War. I think if you haven't watched the show and kind of want to get what it's about, start with either the 1st episode or honestly watch that 6th episode, because it has revealed itself to be a show about overall like storytelling and mythology in a way that's really, really interesting. I think a lot of people approached it being like, Lovecraft, it's going to have tentacle monsters and be really cool, having not read the book or not have a proper understanding of like what Lovecraft's horror and writings were overall. And the show's doing a lot more than that. And this most recent episode like helped me rewire my brain to understand what the show overall was trying to do. And I think it's one of the best episodes of TV I've seen in a very long time. And again, totally like 90% self-contained. I would say if you haven't given the show a shot yet and were curious about it, start with that 6th episode. It's fucking cool and very emotional and moving. Very good. Very well done.
Right on.
I believe that's it for GQAM this week, Blake. Let's plug Jacob Geller's Sword Stream starting in about 3 hours on youtube.com/ I don't know if he has an underscore. Jacob Geller?
Jacob Geller.
Yes. The boy's
and
name.
Twitch.
Find him on Twitter at JakobG42. You know who it is. You know what it is. Raising money for a good cause to prevent internet harassment with swords. Very good stuff. Internet harassment, very bad stuff. Raising money to combat it, very good stuff. Jacob Geller, very good boy. All of the guests on that stream, going to be wild. You're going to see some familiar faces.
Fucking control, dude. There's a Discord channel for coordinating all the guests, and I scrolled through it last night, and I was like, whoa.
Heater after heater.
Holy shit.
Gonna be some good games in there, too.
Out of control.
Sekiro, Beat Saber, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. That shit's gonna honk. It's gonna be fun.
Guitar Hero Aerosmith.
Hell yes.
Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Die.
I didn't see that on the schedule, but I believe you.
I think that's banned on Twitch.
I think so. So let's not do that. All right.
Let's drop the announcy and call it a night.
Blake, what are we announcing this time around?
We're going to show, real quick, before we log off here, we're going to show our lineup of guests for the upcoming Titanfall miniseries we're doing, Affecting Cause, which is dropping in 5 days, I believe.
That's right.
Episode.
First
a little
episode
early if you're first episode early, of course, if you're a patron. You can do that at patreon.com/gamequery, but September 30th for everyone else. So we have a slew of guests, including, I think every guest we have is someone we've wanted on Game Query for literally years that we haven't been able to work out for one reason or another.
Do you want to warn
people?
You
want to just pull that up?
Let's warn people before we flash this image. This is good stuff. You need to be prepared for how good this lineup is.
Hey, people, Hold on to your butts.
Yeah, here it is. I hope the audio will work as we keep talking here, but it's
Okay.
just me. There we are. Yes, this is the list for Effect and Cause, the Titanfall 2 retrospective podcast. We will be putting out an episode every week up until the game's 4th anniversary on October 28th. Why the 4th anniversary? Because Titanfall 2 is now president of video games. That's just how the rules work. It has served a full term, and we're going to dig in and dissect its influence on first-person shooters, its legacy, its release, the build-up to it, how it has influenced games that have come out since, why the game is so beloved, revered, talked about, and dig deep into each of the individual missions themselves, talk about gameplay, talk about story, talk about everything from A to Z regarding Titanfall 2. So I am super excited for this series. It's an idea I've had in the back of my brain for a very long time, and our guest lineup is incredible. So if you want to play along, take notes, write in, talk about it, discourse Titanfall 2 with us, this is sort of the loose schedule, and get excited about the people we will be introducing into the GQ canon.
Yes. And not wait. I think they're all new guests except for JV,
Yes.
who was on an episode of Something Rotten. So this is all new heads to the GQ show. Cannot wait.
Awesome.
It's gonna be exciting. I actually, in this moment, because I haven't started replaying it, I don't like Titanfall 2.
Blake.
But I've been wanting to replay it to see if my opinion changes. But in this moment, I assume the only one doing the show who actively does not like that game. So
we shall see.
To see
All
what
right.
happens.
Let's sign off, Blake. You want to plug anything you got?
Metallica is rad. I'm on vacation for the next 2 weeks. Circle back with me on October 12th.
Let's fucking go. That's all I'm going to plug as well, too. Stay tuned to Game Query. Stay tuned to our pod. Stay tuned to our Patreon. Keep on donating good money to good causes, and be good to each other on the internet. We'll see you all in the chat for the Sword stream. Maybe on camera for the Sword stream. You know what it is. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Have a great week. Chat to you later.